Welcome back to our channel US Coins World. Today, we're diving into the world of rare Washington quarter dollar coins. Some of these could be worth a small fortune. If you've got quarters lying around, you won't want to miss this. Let's find out if you're sitting on hidden treasure. So let's continue our today's video on Top 1. Today we're talking about one very specific coin, the 1967 Washington quarter dollar from the United States of America. It's a coin you've probably seen before, maybe even spent without a second thought. But believe me, some versions of this coin are anything but ordinary. Some of them are rare. Some of them are mysterious. And a select few are incredibly valuable. So make sure you listen closely to every part of this video, because by the end, we're going to reveal how a single 1967 quarter could be worth an astonishing amount of money. You don't want to miss this. Let's begin with a little history. The 1967 Washington quarter came during a very unique period in U.S. coinage history. Just a couple of years earlier, in 1965, the U.S. Mint made a major change. Quarters would no longer be made of silver. Before that, they were 90% silver, but rising silver prices led to a shift. Starting in 1965, the Mint began using a copper-nickel-clad composition. That change continued into 1966 and 1967. But here's where things get interesting. In 1967, the U.S. Mint was under pressure to keep coins in circulation and prevent hoarding. So to speed up production, they did not include mint marks on quarters that year. That means all 1967 quarters, whether they were struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, looked the same. No little D or S mark. This might seem like a small detail, but for collectors, it makes things much more mysterious and challenging, which only adds to the excitement. Now, let's talk about what makes certain 1967 quarters rare and valuable. First, you have the error coins. These are the mistakes that slipped through the cracks, quite literally, and ended up in the hands of lucky collectors. One of the most sought-after errors is the off-metal strike, where a quarter was accidentally struck on a blank intended for a different coin, like a dime or a penny. These are incredibly rare and highly valuable. Next, we have double die errors. These happen when the coin is struck twice with a slight shift between the strikes, creating a doubled image. If you look closely at the date, the word Liberty, or In God We Trust, and you see any signs of doubling, you might be looking at a double die variety. These are always exciting finds. Another fascinating type of error is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank isn't properly aligned during minting, leaving part of the design missing. A well-centered coin is standard, but a coin with 10%, 25%, or even 50% of the design shifted off the coin. That's something special. Collectors love off-center errors, especially when the date is still visible, and let's not forget about the clipped planchet errors, coins that are missing a chunk due to a mistake in the cutting of the blank metal discs. These are unusual and eye-catching, and serious collectors are always on the lookout for them, but even without these dramatic errors, condition is everything. A 1967 quarter found in the bottom of a drawer might be worth only face value, but a coin that has been kept in pristine, uncirculated condition, with no wear and full mint luster, can be worth many times more. The highest quality coins are those graded by professional grading services, like PCGS or NGC. Coins that reach mint state 67, 68, or higher are extremely rare. Combine that with a mint error, and you've got yourself something extraordinary. There are also proof-like and SMS, special mint set, versions of the 1967 quarter. Since traditional proof coins weren't made for the public that year, the mint created SMS coins with a higher level of detail and finish. Some of these were struck so sharply and with such quality that they're nearly proof in appearance. These versions can be highly collectible, especially in high grades. Now here's the exciting part. Imagine a 1967 Washington quarter struck on a silver planchet from a previous year. Or a flawless, uncirculated coin with a bold double die. Or a dramatic off-center strike that escaped inspection. These kinds of coins have been found. They exist. And they are worth serious money, which brings us to the moment you've been waiting for. If you happen to own a 1967 Washington quarter dollar with a rare mint error, or a coin in absolutely flawless, high-grade condition, or better yet, a combination of both, your coin could be worth as much as $85,000, yes, you heard that correctly. $85,000, for one small, seemingly ordinary quarter. So before you toss your old coins into a change machine or spend them without a second glance, take a good look. Because that simple 1967 quarter in your pocket could be a rare treasure, waiting to be discovered. Top 2. We're about to take a deep dive into a coin that millions of people have seen, but only a few truly understand. A coin that could still be sitting in your pocket, your dresser drawer, or an old coffee can in the attic. That coin is the 1979 Washington quarter dollar, and what seems like ordinary pocket change might actually be worth a small fortune. So sit back, turn up the volume, and listen closely, because we're going to tell you exactly what makes certain 1979 quarters rare, what errors to look for, and just how valuable they can become if you find the right one. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932, celebrating the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By 1979, the U.S. Mint had been producing the copper-nickel-clad version of the quarter for over a decade, having transitioned away from 90% silver coins back in 1965. In 1979, quarters were minted at 3 main locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. The coins struck in San Francisco were typically made as proofs, highly detailed coins meant for collectors, not circulation. But here's where things get interesting. Despite being a common coin in terms of mintage numbers, the 1979 Washington quarter becomes highly collectible and even extremely valuable when certain rare conditions and errors are present. And these aren't just any errors, they're the kind of mistakes that the mint wasn't supposed to let out, but did. Let's talk about double die errors first. These happen when the coin's design is impressed twice, slightly out of alignment. The result? Doubling in the lettering, numbers, or even Washington's face. If you spot clear doubling on words like liberty or in God we trust, that coin could be a serious find. Another major rarity to look out for is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank coin isn't properly aligned inside the press. The result is a coin that might be missing part of its design, with the image shifted to one side. A dramatic off-center strike, especially where the full date is still visible, is a favorite among collectors, and it adds significant value. Then you've got the wrong planchet errors. This is where the real treasure lies. In rare cases, a 1979 quarter may have been accidentally struck on a planchet meant for a completely different coin, like a nickel or even a foreign denomination. These off-metal errors are ultra-rare, and they make the coin incredibly desirable, and let's not forget the proof coins with cameo and deep cameo finishes. These were struck at the San Francisco Mint with extra care and multiple strikes to ensure sharp, mirror-like surfaces and frosted details. While these were not intended for general circulation, a few have found their way into everyday hands, and if you happen to come across one, especially in pristine condition, it's worth checking out. Now, beyond errors, condition plays a massive role. A standard 1979 quarter in worn condition won't raise any eyebrows. But one that's been preserved in mint state, showing no signs of wear and full original luster. That's a different story. Coins graded MS-66 and above, especially those with errors or proof-like qualities, are incredibly valuable to collectors. And those with both rare errors and top condition? Well, let's just say that's the sweet spot where things get really exciting. What makes the 1979 quarter even more thrilling is that these valuable versions aren't locked away in museums or behind glass. They're still being found in pocket change, estate sales, and forgotten collections. That's why collectors, new and seasoned, are always on the hunt. So now comes the big question: just how much could a rare 1979 Washington quarter be worth? Well, if you have a 1979 quarter that checks all the boxes, an extremely rare error, such as a wrong planchet or dramatic double die, combined with mint state preservation or proof-like quality, your coin could be worth up to $83,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $83,000 for a single quarter that many people wouldn't even give a second glance at. That's why this coin is so special. It reminds us that sometimes, hidden treasure is closer than we think. Maybe it's in your house. Maybe it's in your wallet right now. The only way to know is to look. carefully.so before you toss your change into the vending machine or roll up those quarters for the bank, take a moment to inspect them. Look for doubling, off-center designs, unusual colors, or signs of proof-like surfaces. That one extra moment could lead you to a discovery worth tens of thousands. Top 3. We're unlocking the secrets behind one particular coin, the 1982 United States Washington quarter dollar. A coin so common at first glance, yet in certain cases, so valuable that it could fetch the kind of money most people only dream about. So sit tight, watch closely, and listen carefully, because by the end of this video, you'll find out exactly what to look for and how one small coin from 1982 could be worth $81,000. Let's go back to the early 1980s. The year 1982 was a time of economic challenge and transition in the United States. Inflation was high, unemployment was rising, and the U.S. Mint was looking for ways to cut costs. As a result, several changes were made to coin production, and those changes created some fascinating varieties and errors that collectors are now eagerly chasing. The Washington quarter had already become a familiar piece of American currency by 1982, having been introduced in 1932. But this year was anything but ordinary in the world of quarters. Here's why. First of all, 1982 was the first year that the U.S. Mint stopped producing uncirculated coin sets for the public. That means many 1982 quarters only exist in circulated condition. So if you find one in uncirculated or mint state condition today, that's already rare and valuable. But here's where things get really exciting: mint mark varieties and striking errors. In 1982, quarters were struck at two main facilities, Philadelphia and Denver. The ones from Denver have a small D mint mark, and the ones from Philadelphia that year were supposed to have no mint mark at all. However, some rare 1982 quarters have been discovered with either incomplete, weak, or partially missing mint marks, which immediately sets them apart from the millions of regular issues. But that's just the beginning. Let's talk about the real stars of the show, error coins. One of the most talked about errors from 1982 is the no mint mark error on a coin that should have had one. This is different from the standard Philadelphia mint mark absence. It's when a Denver quarter was struck without the D mint mark due to a worn or grease-filled die. These quarters are extremely scarce and command serious attention in the collector market. Another exciting variety is the off-center strike. This happens when the planchet, the blank coin, is not properly aligned in the coin press. It leads to a design that's partially missing, skewed, or visibly shifted. Some off-center strikes from 1982 still display the full date and are worth big money due to their unusual appearance. Then there are double die errors, where part of the coin, such as the date, lettering, or even Washington's profile, appears slightly duplicated due to a misalignment during the die creation process. These errors are rare, visually fascinating, and highly prized. You might also encounter clipped planchets, where a small curved section of the coin is missing, giving the quarter a unique and unmistakable appearance. But beyond errors and mint mark mysteries, condition still plays a massive role in a coin's value. Because no official mint sets were made in 1982, finding a mint state quarter from this year, graded MS 65 or higher, is already tough. Combine that with an error or rare variety, and you have a recipe for something truly extraordinary. Collectors hunt for these coins obsessively. Why? Because the 1982 quarter holds a unique place in modern numismatics. It represents rarity in a modern coin, which is not easy to find. It's a symbol of transition, of cost-cutting decisions that led to accidental treasures. And for coin enthusiasts, it's the thrill of the hunt that keeps them going. Now comes the big question: what is the most a 1982 Washington quarter can be worth? Well, if you happen to come across one that features a rare minting error, such as an off-metal strike, a missing mint mark, or a dramatic off-center strike, and that coin is also in uncirculated, pristine condition, then you're not just holding a coin, you're holding something that could be worth $81,000. Yes, you heard that right. $81,000, for a coin that started out as just 25 cents. So, before you throw that old change into a vending machine or roll it up for the bank, take a closer look. Pull out those 1982 quarters. Examine them carefully. Look for mint mark oddities, off-center designs, doubling, and overall condition. That one small coin could be a hidden treasure just waiting to be discovered. Top 4 were uncovering the mystery, the value, and the unexpected worth of one particular coin, the 1998 United States Washington quarter dollar. Yep, that's right, 1998. It might seem recent, ordinary, and far from rare. But the truth is, some quarters from that very year are now considered collector gold. And if you happen to own the right one, you might just be sitting on something truly incredible. So stick around until the end of the video, because we're going to reveal what makes certain 1998 quarters rare, what kind of minting errors to watch out for, and just how much one special coin from this year could be worth. Spoiler, it's a number that will blow your mind. Let's start with a little context. The Washington quarter has been in production since 1932. It's seen decades of change, from silver to clad, from simple designs to elaborate state series. But the 1998 quarter is especially interesting because it was the final year before the iconic 50-state quarters program launched in 1999. That means the 1998 quarter was the last of the classic eagle reverse design before the mint shifted to showcasing all 50 states. That alone makes it a bit of a historical marker in U.S. coinage. But it's what happened during the minting of some 1998 quarters that really gets collectors excited. Let's talk errors and varieties, because this is where value begins to skyrocket. Point 1 of the most remarkable and talked about errors found on some 1998 quarters is the double die obverse. This error occurs when the coin is struck twice during the minting process with a slight misalignment. What you get is a visible doubling of letters or numbers, most notably in Liberty, In God We Trust, and sometimes even the date. A clean, visible double die error can transform an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. Another fascinating error that has been spotted on some 1998 quarters is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank coin isn't aligned properly under the die, resulting in a design that's pushed to one side, sometimes with parts missing entirely. The more dramatic the off-center strike, especially if the full date is still visible, the more collectors are willing to pay. And then, there are wrong planchet errors. Imagine a quarter being mistakenly struck on a blank meant for a penny or a foreign coin. These are incredibly rare, but when they appear, they fetch jaw-dropping prices. The weight, thickness, and even color might be off, which makes these mistakes easy to spot if you know what you're looking for. Now, let's not forget about proof-like finishes or coins struck with exceptionally sharp detail. Though not true proofs, some circulation coins come off the dies with such crisp lines and shine that collectors refer to them as proof-like. These coins, especially from 1998, are considered special finds, particularly if they also contain an error, and just when you think it couldn't get any more interesting, enter the missing clad layer error. These coins are missing the outer nickel layer, revealing the copper core beneath. A 1998 quarter with a partially or fully missing clad layer is not only rare but also eye-catching. It looks different. It feels different. And collectors love that, but even without a dramatic error, condition matters more than ever. In 1998, most quarters were heavily circulated. Finding one in mint state 67 or higher, with no scratches, wear, or discoloration, is exceptionally difficult. Combine that high-grade condition with a mint error, and you've got a coin that makes headlines in auctions. Collectors are especially drawn to the 1998 quarter because it bridges two important eras, marking the end of a classic design and leading directly into one of the most widely collected series in U.S. coin history. That makes this coin a perfect blend of nostalgia, rarity, and investment opportunity. And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, if you are lucky enough to own a 1998 Washington quarter with a significant error, like a dramatic off-center strike, a double die, a wrong planchet, or even a flawless mint state version with a missing clad layer, your little coin could be worth as much as $78,000. That's right. $78,000 for a coin that might be hiding in a handful of change right now. So what should you do next? Start checking those quarters. Look through your change, old coin jars, and collections passed down through family. Take a magnifying glass and check the details. What looks like a small mistake to the untrained eye could actually be a rare minting error worth tens of thousands, and if you think you found something special, get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade can skyrocket your coin's value and make it auction ready. Top 5. We're spotlighting a modern classic that's already turning heads and catching serious attention, the United States 2021 Washington Quarter, featuring the striking, crossing the Delaware, design. At first glance, it might seem like just another quarter, but trust me, this coin has a story and value that could surprise you. If you're a coin lover or just someone curious about hidden treasures, listen closely and enjoy this deep dive, because by the end of this video, you'll know why this particular quarter might be worth way more than its face value, and how much that could be. So, let's step back and set the stage. The 2021 Washington Quarter, Crossing the Delaware, is part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a series that honors significant places, events, and moments in American history. This design commemorates one of the most iconic moments in the Revolutionary War, George Washington's daring crossing of the Delaware River on Christmas night in 1776. This event was pivotal in turning the tide for the Continental Army. The coin's design perfectly captures this historic scene, showcasing Washington standing tall in the boat, braving icy waters with his determined soldiers behind him. The artistry is incredible, sharp lines, intricate details, and a powerful story frozen in metal. But beyond its historical significance and stunning design, what makes the 2021 Crossing the Delaware Quarter truly fascinating for collectors are the rare minting errors and varieties that appeared during production. Despite being a relatively recent coin, the 2021 quarter already has its share of highly sought-after anomalies. One of the most famous is the double die error on the obverse, where elements of Washington's portrait, the inscriptions like "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," or even the date can show slight doubling. This creates a noticeable, eye-catching effect that collectors love because it's a mint mistake that turns a common coin into a unique collectible. Then there's the off-center strike, where the design is noticeably shifted, sometimes cutting off part of the image or lettering. The more dramatic the misalignment, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. Another fascinating rarity is the missing or doubled mint mark. The P or D mint marks from Philadelphia or Denver can be absent or appear doubled, making these coins a hot commodity among error collectors. And let's not forget about the planchet errors, like a coin struck on a wrong metal blank or one with a clipped edge, which gives the coin an unusual shape or feel. These physical anomalies are like little fingerprints that set your coin apart in a sea of thousands. What's truly exciting is that because these errors are quite scarce and the 2021 quarter is so new, demand for these rarities has skyrocketed. Collectors are eager to get their hands on them, driving up prices to astonishing levels. Of course, condition is king in the coin world. An uncirculated or proof version of the 2021 Crossing the Delaware Quarter with any of these rare errors or variations can command a premium price, especially if it's graded by a professional service and preserved in near-perfect condition. So, what's the bottom line? What kind of value are we talking about here? If you're lucky enough to have one of these rare error coins from the 2021 Washington Quarter Crossing the Delaware series, especially those with a significant double die, a major off-center strike, or a missing mint mark, and it's in pristine, uncirculated condition, your coin could be worth as much as $75,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $75,000 for a single quarter issued less than a few years ago. So the next time you're sorting through change, don't overlook the power of modern coinage. That quarter might just be your gateway to an incredible find. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want to explore more fascinating stories about rare coins and hidden treasures, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a discovery. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep hunting, keep collecting, and may your next coin be the one that changes everything.